Have you ever felt trapped in so many problems that it seems impossible to find a way out? We know how challenging it is to deal with unforeseen events and obstacles that seem to block our path to success. But what if I told you that these same problems could be the key to making money? In today's video, I'll show you 6 infallible strategies to turn any challenge into a great financial opportunity. If you're tired of seeing difficulties as a burden, keep watching, because the solution is closer than you think. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our videos about opportunities and strategies for your financial success. 1. Have you ever stopped to think that success doesn't always come from where we expect it? He often appears at the most difficult moment, when everything seems to be going wrong. I'll tell you a story that illustrates this well. Imagine a young entrepreneur who had a big dream to set up his own technology company. He invested everything he had: time, energy, and of course, money. But suddenly, things started to go wrong. Clients gave up, investments didn't yield as he expected, and debts began to accumulate. He got to the point where he almost gave up. It was then that something unexpected happened. During a meeting with an investor, instead of just lamenting the problems, he started talking about the solutions he was finding to the challenges. Without realizing it, he was showing his adaptability and resilience. The investor, who until then seemed disinterested, was impressed. He was not just seeing problems, but an entrepreneur who knew how to turn difficulties into opportunities. This story teaches us something very important. Success is not just about having the perfect idea or the ideal moment. It comes to those who have the motivation to continue, a clear strategy to face challenges, and the ability to see opportunities where others only see problems. Opportunities are often disguised as problems. You know that situation where everything seems to go wrong? That's where the secret lies. If you have the motivation to persist, a well-thought-out strategy to resolve obstacles, and, above all, the ability to identify what can be done to transform that challenge into a new chance, you are on the right path. The truth is that success is not luck. It is built. It happens to those who are prepared to act when things get difficult. Just like the entrepreneur in our story, who managed to change the direction of his company instead of giving up, you can do this too. All you need is motivation, strategy, and the willingness to transform each problem into a new opportunity for growth. 2. Monitor changes. Have you ever noticed how the world around us seems to be constantly changing? Sometimes, it seems like we've barely gotten used to something new, and suddenly, everything has changed again. Things are faster, more uncertain, and what worked in the past won't necessarily work today. I'll tell you a story that illustrates this very well. There was a man who, a few years ago, owned a photo developing shop. In the 90s, the business was going from strength to strength. People lined up to have photos developed, and he could barely serve all the customers. He believed that that would never change. After all, everyone would always need to reveal their photos, right? Well, time passed, and the digital world arrived with full force. Suddenly, no one needed to develop photos anymore. Everything was done with digital cameras and later with smartphones. What he didn't realize was that the world around him was changing, and he was still stuck with an old strategy. His business closed, and he found himself aimless. Now, imagine if the same man had noticed a change in time. What if he had understood that, to remain relevant, he would need to learn new skills, adapt to technology, and offer digital services? He could have turned his store into a modern studio with digital printing services, or even something completely innovative in the world of digital photography. But he didn't do that. He was stuck in the past, while the world around him moved forward at warp speed. This is the crucial point of our conversation. To survive in a world as fast-paced and uncertain as the one we live in today, we need to constantly adapt. The strategies that our parents or grandparents used to be successful no longer necessarily work. Continuous learning has become a necessity, not an option. A great example of this is the technology sector. Programming languages and tools that were used 5 years ago are now outdated. IT professionals who don't stay up to date quickly fall behind. Likewise, in any other sector, if you are not always learning, updating, and adapting your strategies, the risk of becoming irrelevant is very high. The key to staying relevant in this uncertain world is to be open to learning. We need to get rid of the idea that we already know enough. There is always something new to learn. There are always new skills we can develop. And more than that, we have to be willing to unlearn. Often, what worked in the past needs to be abandoned to make room for new ideas. Another clear example of this are companies that insisted on old strategies and ended up being left behind. Who doesn't remember Blockbuster, which dominated the movie rental market? When Netflix emerged, offering a new business model, they didn't believe it would change the market. The result? Blockbuster went bankrupt, while Netflix became an entertainment giant. Therefore, if you want to remain relevant in a world that changes every day, the secret is simple. Don't stop learning. Always be aware of changes, new technologies, new ways of doing things. Keep an open mind to new strategies and never underestimate the need to adapt. The world will not stop evolving, and opportunities are there for those who are willing to evolve along with it. So, always keep moving, learning, adapting, and innovating. Only then will you be able to not only survive, but thrive in the scenario of uncertainty and speed. 3. The Chinese bamboo metaphor. Persistence and patience are two essential pillars for anyone seeking to achieve long-term financial and personal success. We are often so focused on getting quick results that we end up forgetting that the most significant achievements take time. Haste can lead us to make mistakes or give up too soon, without allowing the natural growth process to happen. In this context, the story of Chinese bamboo serves as a powerful illustration of the importance of these two virtues. The story of Chinese bamboo is simple, but it carries a great lesson. In the first years of its cultivation, bamboo does not seem to grow. No matter how much you water it or care for it, nothing seems to happen above ground. During these first 4 years, there is an expectation to see some visible progress, but it simply doesn't appear. However, what few know is that all this time, bamboo has been growing its roots intensely and deeply underground, creating a solid and resistant foundation. Then, in the 5th year, something extraordinary happens. The bamboo finally starts to grow and can reach up to 12 meters in height in a few weeks. This Chinese bamboo metaphor applies directly to personal and financial life. Many times, we are working hard, putting time and effort into our projects, and it seems like we are not making progress. This can generate frustration, discouragement, and even make us question whether we are on the right path. However, just like bamboo, the growth that really matters is happening invisibly. We are developing skills, acquiring knowledge, and building a solid foundation that, when ready, will enable rapid and sustainable growth. In the financial world, for example, it is common for people who invest with a long-term vision to face periods of apparent stagnation. The market may not respond immediately to your efforts, and often, returns only begin to appear after a significant amount of patience and persistence. But it is exactly at this moment that investors must maintain their strategy, continuing to make the right choices, as sustainable growth requires time and resilience. The same applies to our personal lives. Building relationships, developing new skills, or achieving self-knowledge and well-being goals take time. Sometimes it may seem like all the effort is leading nowhere, but it is precisely during this roots period that we are strengthening our internal foundation. Personal success, like Chinese bamboo, is the result of a solid foundation that takes time to establish. Persistence and patience are also crucial to staying focused on our long-term goals. Many people give up on their dreams because they want immediate results and are frustrated by the slow pace of progress. But the truth is that true success rarely happens overnight. It requires continuous effort and a willingness to face difficulties, even when there are no guarantees of quick results. In the competitive environment we live in today, those who have patience and persistence stand out. They don't give up at the first obstacles and don't get upset by small failures along the way. On the contrary, they see these challenges as learning opportunities and continue moving forward, confident that success will come with time. The great lesson we can learn from the story of Chinese bamboo is that success does not just depend on talent or opportunity, but on a solid foundation built with patience and persistence. The roots we cultivate today, even if invisible to the eyes of others, are what will sustain our growth tomorrow. Did you already know the history of Chinese bamboo? Leave in the comments if this metaphor also makes sense to you and how it can apply to your life. 4. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein is often remembered as one of the greatest geniuses in history, but what many don't know is that his path to success was not as simple or linear as one might imagine. His life and career are a clear example of how persistence can be the decisive factor in achieving success, even in the face of rejection and difficulties. Einstein's story shows us that talent alone is not enough. Without the ability to persist in the face of obstacles, he could have given up before reaching his full potential and, who knows, never become the influential figure we know today. Before being recognized worldwide, Einstein faced many difficulties. In 1905, he published his famous paper on the special theory of relativity, which would revolutionize physics. However, before reaching this milestone, he faced academic rejection. One of the most memorable episodes was when he tried to apply for a teaching position at a university in Switzerland. At the time, his candidacy was rejected on the grounds that his ideas were more artistic than scientific. For someone less persistent, this rejection could have been the end of his career. But Einstein used this experience as fuel to continue his studies and research. This example highlights an important point. Persistence is not just the ability to keep working on something, but to pick yourself up after each rejection. Einstein could have interpreted this rejection as a sign that he was on the wrong path. Instead, he chose to persevere, aware that his ideas had value even if they were not immediately understood by everyone. Over time, his contributions to science became undeniable. He developed the general theory of relativity, won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921 for his work on the photoelectric effect, and left a legacy that transformed not only physics, but also the way we see the universe. However, none of this would have happened if he had given up after his first few rejections. Einstein's story teaches us a valuable lesson. No matter how talented or intelligent we are, success often requires more than just technical skill. It takes determination to continue, even when the doors close. Rejections are part of the path to success, and instead of being seen as insurmountable barriers, they should be seen as challenges to be overcome. Furthermore, Einstein's persistence is a reminder that people often don't immediately understand the value of innovative ideas. Great discoveries and innovations often meet initial resistance, not because they are flawed, but because they challenge the status quo. Einstein's ability to continue to believe in his ideas, even when others did not understand them, was crucial to his success. Another interesting aspect of this story is that persistence not only led Einstein to achieve his professional goals, but also allowed him to redefine the field of physics for future generations. If he had given up after initial rejection, the world might never have known about his revolutionary theories. It's proof that it's often persistence that separates those who make great contributions from those who give up before realizing their full potential. Therefore, persistence should be seen as a fundamental skill for anyone seeking success, whether in their career or in their personal life. Einstein's journey is just one of many examples that illustrate how determination and the ability to continue, even in the face of adversity, are essential to achieving great things. If you were inspired by this story and also believe in the power of persistence, don't forget to leave a like. This helps a lot to continue sharing content that can add value to your life and career. 5. Self-awareness of skills. Self-awareness of skills is an essential element for personal and professional success. Knowing what you are capable of doing and having the ability to put that knowledge into practice is more important than simply accumulating information. In a world where access to knowledge is increasingly facilitated through books, online courses, and other sources, the real difference lies in the effective application of that knowledge. In other words, more than just knowing, you need to know how to do it. We often see extremely educated people with various degrees and certificates, but who are unable to apply this knowledge in a practical way in their lives. This happens because, despite accumulating a lot of information, they are not clear about how to use these skills in the real world. Self-awareness, in this context, involves knowing what your capabilities are and, more than that, recognizing how and when to use them to solve problems or achieve goals. Having theoretical knowledge is important, without a doubt, but without the competence to act, this knowledge loses value. For example, it is common that in work environments, some people are experts in their fields but face difficulties in the practical execution of their functions. This doesn't mean they aren't talented and intelligent, but rather that they lack the self-awareness necessary to align what they know with the actions they need to take. They accumulate knowledge, but do not transform it into concrete results. Self-awareness of skills is also related to the ability to recognize your strengths and weaknesses. Knowing what you're good at and where you need to improve is crucial to developing an action plan that maximizes your strengths and minimizes the impacts of your weaknesses. If you are not clear about your skills, you run the risk of investing time and energy in areas that are not the best fit for you, while neglecting your true skills. This process of self-knowledge allows for more efficient targeting of efforts and the achievement of better results. Furthermore, self-awareness of our skills makes us more prepared to face challenges. When we know exactly what we are capable of doing, we can make more assertive and effective decisions. This avoids paralysis in situations that require a quick and practical response. On the other hand, a lack of awareness about our abilities can lead us to insecurity or procrastination, postponing problem solving for fear of not being prepared or qualified enough to act. It is important to remember that competence is not just a matter of technical ability. It also involves the ability to adapt, make decisions in complex situations, and act effectively even in uncertain environments. Being competent means being ready to face the challenges that arise on a daily basis, using both your knowledge and experience in a practical and results-oriented way. Self-awareness also helps us avoid the Dunning-Kruger effect, which occurs when people with low competence believe they are more capable than they really are, while those with more competence often underestimate their abilities. When you have a clear vision of your capabilities, it's easier to avoid these extremes, maintaining a healthy balance between self-confidence and humility. Ultimately, self-awareness of skills is what differentiates those who simply know from those who actually do. In an increasingly competitive job market, where companies are looking not only for people with great knowledge, but, above all, those who know how to apply it effectively, having this clarity about what you are capable of doing becomes an advantage significant. Therefore, the path to success is not only in the accumulation of knowledge, but in having the necessary competence to put this knowledge into action in a practical and efficient way. Knowing your capabilities, being aware of how to apply them, and acting with confidence are elements that will make all the difference in your journey, whether personal or professional. 6. Open mindset. The best opportunities in life often arise unexpectedly, without any warning or prior planning. In many cases, it is these opportunities that define the direction of our personal and professional trajectories. However, the ability to recognize and enjoy these moments largely depends on our mindset. Having an open mind is essential to identify these opportunities, and more than that, to maximize them to their potential. An open mindset implies being willing to consider new ideas, alternatives, and paths that may not be part of the initial planning. Many people tend to resist the unexpected, whether out of fear, insecurity, or simply because they are stuck in a rigidly defined plan. However, this rigidity can lead us to miss valuable opportunities that often arise in unexpected ways and at inconvenient times. Being open to new challenges, even when they weren't part of the original plan, is what allows many people to find success in areas they had never considered. This mental flexibility is particularly important in an ever-changing world. The professional environment, for example, is dynamic and unpredictable. Technological advances, changes in market demands, and even unexpected global events, such as economic crises or pandemics, can completely change the scenario in which we operate. Those who are willing to adapt their approach and accept new opportunities that arise in these circumstances have a significant competitive advantage. While some may see obstacles or unforeseen events as insurmountable barriers, an open mindset recognizes these moments as doors to new possibilities. Additionally, an open mind allows us to explore areas of interest that may initially seem outside our field of expertise. Many of the most innovative opportunities arise at intersections between different disciplines or sectors. If we maintain a narrow and limiting view, we can prevent ourselves from exploring these new frontiers. On the other hand, by being open to learning new things, collaborating with people from different areas, or even changing direction in our career, we can discover new paths that we would never have considered. This openness is what leads to growth and innovation. Another advantage of maintaining an open mindset is the ability to deal with uncertainty more effectively. Life is unpredictable, and we can't always control or anticipate what will happen next. However, instead of feeling paralyzed or anxious in the face of this uncertainty, an open mind helps us see the unexpected as an opportunity for growth and learning. Every challenge that arises unexpectedly can be a chance to acquire new skills, make valuable connections, or find a creative solution to a problem. It is important to highlight that an open mindset does not mean accepting everything passively or without criteria. On the contrary, it involves an active stance of exploring and evaluating new ideas and opportunities. It means being receptive to change, but also being able to critically evaluate those changes and make informed decisions about which opportunities are worth pursuing. Having an open mindset, therefore, is related to a balance between flexibility and discernment. The fact that many opportunities appear unexpectedly also teaches us a valuable lesson about the value of being prepared. Even though we can't predict when or how an opportunity will arise, we can prepare ourselves to recognize it and act quickly when it appears. This involves developing our skills, maintaining a broad and diverse network of contacts, and constantly being up to date with trends and changes in our field. When an opportunity arises, those who are prepared for it are the ones who can make the most of it. Therefore, the key to maximizing unexpected opportunities lies in cultivating an open and receptive mindset. This allows us to not only recognize these opportunities when they arise, but also act decisively and effectively. After all, life is full of surprises, and the best opportunities often appear when we least expect them. Being open to these possibilities and willing to adapt them to our context is what allows us to transform the unexpected into success. Having an open mind is an invaluable asset in any field or circumstance in life. By adopting this stance, we are not only prepared for whatever comes, but also ready to grow, innovate, and prosper amid the changes and uncertainties that will inevitably arise. If you like this content and want to continue following more tips and reflections on how to achieve success amidst challenges, subscribe to the channel, leave your comment below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to leave a like, as this helps us to continue bringing valuable content to you. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.